Let's get more conversions with Google Ads. What's up, everybody? David Feldman-Makrias, and today we're going to talk about how to get more conversions with Google Ads updated for 2024. And it's a shame that nobody is talking about these tactics because there's all these different types of channels and promotions and everything out there trying to say that there is a magic bullet, that there is a golden sword. If you do this one little thing, if you use this AI, then you will get more conversions. And, that's not necessarily inaccurate. However, it doesn't mean much unless you have the basics covered. Just like when you're building a house, you need a good foundation of, I'm going to call the basics your good foundation. You pour the concrete, you make sure it's set, and then you could build whatever you want on top of it. And that's what we're going to go through today. And whenever we say, okay, how can we get more conversions or get more of anything? Let's make sure we go back to the very beginning and make sure our foundation is as strong and as tight as it can be. So let's dive into that right now. I made a little sheet for y'all, and I'm going to give it to you in 6 steps, okay? 6 steps to get more conversions with Google Ads updated for 2024, and these should be going on beyond and beyond because they are the basics. I'm going to read through them now, and then I'm going to go through the actual examples of how we do this and what that actually means afterwards. So number 1, asking these initial questions to yourself. How many conversions am I getting now? And what kind of conversions I want to get. That's number 1. Number 2, check your existing conversions. You got to test them. You got to make sure they're labeled correctly. And there's multiple tools to do this. Number 3, you want your website easy to convert. Oftentimes, we think we set up the campaigns right, we launch the ads, we direct the traffic to the website, and we don't see any conversions because we didn't make it as simple as possible. That is paramount. Make your website easy to convert, and I'm going to go over some examples. You're going to start with campaigns that are at the bottom of the funnel. That's number 4. Number 5, you're going to look at your campaign, ad group, ad, and keyword, but you're going to do it in a very specific order, which I'm going to elaborate on. And then finally, number 6, you're going to let it run. But before we even get to the let it run phase, let's go back to number 1, initial questions to ask yourself, okay, how many conversions are we getting now? And what conversions do we want to get? So what I'm going to do is go through a few examples of how we define this. So if you're running a Google Ads account now and you're getting some conversions, great. How many are you getting? There are more ways than one to track conversions. And oftentimes Google actually puts conversions inside of Google Ads that you may or may have not known was in there. And I'm going to show you an example of that right now. And that's why it's so important to start here because things change all the time. I am live in a Google Ads account. I have the name blurred out for client reasons. This is a smaller account. It's actually out of state. I'm located in the Illinois Chicagoland vicinity, but this is out of state and it's in the United States and it's a local business. It's a beauty and esthetician business, so they offer a range of services, and this would be more appropriate for a smaller spend client and only spend about between $1,000 and $3,000 a month. So let's get into this right now. So again, what's our first question? What conversions are we getting or how many? Well, very easy, David. I'm going to come to the campaign window. And then I'm going to look at conversions and I see, oh, we're getting 286.97. Question answered, right? Well, not exactly. Because there are many different types of conversions, which leads into the second part of this point number 1, understanding what conversions we're getting already and then finding out how many of those there are. This is where we start. So I'm going to show you a quick way to understand that before we go to the conversions tab. What I'm going to do is go in here. I'm in the campaign window and I'm going to go here. I'm going to click segment and then I'm going to go to conversions and I like to segment by conversion action. And what this is going to do is break out all of our campaigns and allow us to see what type of conversions these campaigns are generating. So now that I actually did that, I went to segment, conversions, and conversion action. Now all my campaigns here are listed by what conversions they're getting. So we have my conversion column here, and it shows in this first campaign, there's two types of conversions: call from ads, which is 4, and then a custom conversion that my team made in order to track the most actionable item on the website. You'll see a couple of these are blurred out to keep the anonymity of the actual client, but these are the type of conversions we're getting. So not only are we just getting 100 conversions approximately in this campaign, but we're getting 10 calls from smart campaigns. We're getting 7 calls from ads. We're getting 78 of this action, 2 of this action, and 2 of this action. And all the way down throughout all my campaigns. And even when I come to the bottom, I like to see the total account, because this is a total list of all of the conversion actions that are available. So not all conversions are created equal, and not all conversions are created the same. Some we set up, some the client sets up, some Google sets up, and most of the time we don't even talk to each other about it, right? So that's why it's really important to understand not only how many conversions you're getting, but you also want to understand what conversions are you getting. We have some Spanish ones in here. We have some other map ones in here. We have some call ones in here. What are important? What are real? What are fake? So on and so forth. So am I actually getting 287 items? I am, but of what? That's the first thing to look at. Audit what these are. If you don't know what they are, then I'm going to show you exactly what to do with them. If you see things that aren't or shouldn't be a conversion in here, then we can remove them. If you see things that aren't in here that should be a conversion, hopefully I said the opposite the last time. If you see things that aren't in here and you think should be a conversion, then we need to add them, right? So that's why it's important to understand. Now, there's been some recent changes on what a conversion is. I'll look it up for you right now. Let's see. What is spelling? What is a conversion to Google Ads is when a user performs some specified action after clicking an ad or viewing a display network ad. So they're doing something. They're completing some action. They're calling, they're chatting, they're hitting direction requests, they're messaging on the website, off the website. It really depends. So now, just note too, if you're familiar with Google Analytics, it used to be called conversions in GA4, Google Analytics. Now it's called key events. A couple different ways to itemize. Conversions is specified for Google Ads in this Google property situation. So let's go back here. And when we're looking here, what's item number 2? Item number 2 on question 1, defining the conversions that we want to get. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to do now to define the conversions, and I'm going to go into tools and settings at the top, and then I'm going to click conversions, because that's going to give me a list of everything that I have and the ability in screens to be able to edit that, remove that, make them primary, secondary, so on and so forth. Okay, so now I'm in the conversion summary report, and this has gotten more extensive over the years. So there are different buckets of conversions, and you'll see a lot blurred out, again, trying to protect the anonymity of the client in question. But basically, we have a lot blurred out. We have purchases, we have add to carts, we have a begin checkout, we have a subscribe, we have submit lead forms, we have signups, we have phone call leads, contacts, book appointments, request quotes, get directions, engagements, outbound clicks, page views, and other. Few categories. So there's a lot in here. What are we doing? What I like to do, and I'm not going to have a whole course on this right now or a whole deep dive, but I'm going to give you like the mini overview. What I like my team to do is Google actually adds a lot of conversions in here automatically. as an example, purchase from Google Ad that's shows website. Okay, maybe that's not one. Let's see. Here's Google hosted. Click de Yamada. Here's call from ads. These are all set up within Google Ads. And Google adds these over time, will change them over time, so on and so forth. And that's why it's important to check the viability, because we have Google hosted, a lot of website ones, but then other ones that are Google hosted. So, there are automatic conversions that come in. What do we do? So I'm not a fan of deleting anything. I like leaving everything in there, but excuse me, we can mark them between two different settings: primary and secondary conversions. Okay. Any conversion that you don't want to use or you don't want to count, but maybe you don't want to delete because you want it as reference later, you're going to use and mark as secondary. Notice when we scroll through this example, there are a crap ton of conversions in here that are marked as secondary. Conversions that we do want to use, as far as bidding and counting and all that stuff, we're going to mark as primary. Okay. And that is going to tell Google, okay, we want to bid for the primary conversions. We're going to count all of our campaigns as conversions only if the conversions are set to primary. That's an item that is a best practice that I highly recommend that you do. And another best practice is in this other tab, my team goes in and makes the primary conversion actions. We add our own. If they're not being tracked, because every situation is a little bit different, right? So notice all these other ones most of them are marked to primary. We have a couple secondary just to observe what's happening, but most of them are marked to primary. And these three are the big ones that we track. We keep it as simple as we possibly can. We'll use some of the phone call ones that Google automatically applies because they're easy to follow up with and easy to track. But other than that, we import our own conversions. Sometimes from Google Analytics 4, sometimes from Google Ads itself, sometimes from a different property if applicable. But that's a best practice that we always do. So that leads into the second point. We're not going to show and diagnose checking your existing conversions in this video. If you do look up on this channel, you'll see multiple videos on how to check conversions, test them, make sure they're working. But this is so underutilized, especially with the deprecation of conversion tracking through Google Ads that we're experiencing more and more in 2024. You need to check your conversions. What do you mean, David? Well, what I mean is that you have to open up something like Tag Assistant. I think it's tagassistant.google.com. You'll have to open up Tag Assistant, and then you'll have to debug. You'll have to, click your domain. You'll have to go to the website, launch the website, click on a couple things, and test the conversions that you have set up already. So I'm not going to make a video, or I'm not going to have this video go too much into that. There's plenty of other resources out there. Plus, I have a few on my channel. Go ahead and look for them if you'd like, or comment me if you'd like me to send that to you directly, no problem. But that would be a very, 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 very important point, because we are seeing more and more conversion tracking being deprecated in 2024 from Google Ads specifically. And you gotta test what you expect, right? What's that saying? Inspect what you expect, right? If we expect to get conversions, you got to test them. And we're having to test them a lot more frequently than in the past. That's part of the reason why our clients rely on us, because even though our clients are very smart and they have the availability to do this by themselves, and they know how to do it, they need help. And that's some of the services that we provide. So if we go back here, you got to check your existing conversions, test them, and label them correctly. All right, going to number 3, make your website easy to convert. So I have a couple of beauty esthetician sites, not the actual client, but the some examples that are in Chicagoland because my client's out of state. So let's pull up this one. This is benefitcosmetics.com. I'm going to pick on them a little bit. One thing I saw when I instantly loaded the site, let's reload it. It loads pretty quick. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Here's a pop-up. But honestly, if we're running Google Ads, a majority that I see in the metropolitan area of Chicago and many other metropolitan areas is that, the majority of traffic is coming through as a mobile device. So I don't want to just look at it on desktop, which I currently am. I'm going to open this. I'm going to do a quick inspect. I'm going to move my, I can't move my face. That's sad. So maybe I can, hold on, close my face. Let's close it for a minute. Okay, I'm still here, but I'm going to move this here. So now we can see a little bit more real estate. So this is the home page, the first load on the mobile version, right? And the home page generally gets the most amount of traffic to any website, bar none. And what gets looked at most on the homepage? What I call the fold. That's a newspaper or traditional advertising term. What do you look at when you first open it or when you first load it? This is the fold. So what do I see here? I see it looks like a standard website. We have a little hamburger menu here. We can go and search and everything's navigable like how you would expect. Here's a search bar. That's your homepage. It's a little shopping cart. The main thing, though, is what would I want to be a conversion on this homepage? The number one thing I'd want to be a conversion on this homepage is any button that we have here. So this Book Me, I'd want the Book Me button to be a conversion. So what happens when I hit Book Me? Now it's going to lead me into another funnel. Oh, am I going to be able to move my little dots here? Hold on. Ooh, a little broken here. Hold on. So if I go book ahead, I'm going to have to choose a geographical area. Sometimes the inspect tool doesn't always work right. So let me use something else for you guys because I think it'll be way easier. See, this is a pop-up. This looks like a some sort of plugin on the website that's going to allow me to select where I want to go. But I really want to demonstrate this on mobile. Unfortunately, the inspect tool has limitations. So let me pull up a browser specified to that. Okay, so I've now opened another browser that's going to allow me to see mobile in its entirety on the screen. So if I go here, now I'm looking at it on an iPhone 14. Let's pop this out. So one thing I noticed on the iPhone 14, my button actually gets covered up. I don't like that. There's also this weird circle here that is harder to see. Is that a message circle? Yep, it shows support. But it's got no, I want to close it. It's got no call to action here. I just intuitively knew it was a message chat bubble, but maybe somebody else wouldn't. I would like to see that book ahead first, right? Book Me is a little bit better, so let's hit Book Me. And it loads. Choose your geographical area. Oh, these test browsers are just having trouble with this plugin for the site. That could be something just on the test browsers. However, this could hinder conversions, guys, right? Sometimes plugins like this, too, you can't track conversions, so you might only be able to, gosh, it's really frustrating. You might only be able to track the button click depending upon how that plugin is set up in that instance. So you got to track. My principle would be track as far as you possibly can. If you can just track the button click, track the button click. If you can track further, like an actual sign up, track the sign up. Track as far as you possibly can. But that goes to show, make your site really simple. So what's my other point here? Let's close the browser. What's my other point here? Make your website easy to convert. Is this website super easy to convert right off the bat? It could be a little bit better, but it could definitely be worse. We want some major call to actions right up front and center and easy. Let's go through another example. So let's look at this one. We have rawbeautylounge.com. The thing I like about this is there's no weird slider rotation banners. Sliders don't really do that well, in my opinion. I think it's super distracting. And especially if you put a button on a slider, which this company did, that button goes away and now I'm all thrown off, right? So this one is, I don't know if it's as aesthetically pleasing, but it's more functional. You have your stuff up here, you have a phone number, you have some information, but the thing I like about this site is that you have 3 buttons. They look prominent, they're in a good location, they're easy to see, they're easy to identify. These are the items that I would track as far as conversions. Enroll now, view upcoming dates, and ask a question, right? And even when I inspect this on mobile, let me do that thing again with my face. All right. Even when we inspect this on mobile, it's much easier to understand, see, and track. So if I'm a user and I go, oh, okay, wow, cool. Yeah, I'll enroll now. So that's going to enroll now, and it's going to take me somewhere else. Not sure if it's going to be inside the site or not, but this is actually nice. I get to see a show order summary. I get all of the confirmation billing stuff right here, and you place your order. And then you have what you'll get. Bang, you got a testimonial, a couple testimonials, you got 100% money back guarantee. That's pretty nice to see. The only thing would be is on this, I would like to see this value add stuff more towards the top rather than, do this right now. And then you could have something that says scroll down to complete order. Something that says scroll down to complete order, and then you have your value add stuff up top. What you'll get, the testimonials, your 100% money back guarantee, like that stuff is great. It makes it a no-brainer, so that way when someone sees it, they're going to want to check out and be done. So again, this site I would say is much more set up better. You have the enroll now and see how easy that was. Make it easy for people to convert. For our purposes, the call to action, which is what I call these buttons, that might be as far as we can track. So when I hit enroll now, it shows checkout, add to cart. I didn't change the domain. This is actually nice. I might be able to track more things on this. Oh, and I see on desktop, you'll actually get the value add side by side with purchasing or filling in the information. Nice. That's very cool. On mobile, I might switch up the order, but on desktop, this looks great. So I'm already liking this site way better. It's fast. It's easy. There's no weird plugin. It's all in the same URL. Notice my URL changed when I hit the button here, and that is a nice piece of information. Easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. No pun intended. So make your website really easy to convert.